If you have eyes, you must look. If you have a tongue, you must taste. If you have hands, you must touch. If you have a nose, you must smell. If you have ears, you must listen. If you are human, you must perceive. If you are an artist, you must enjoy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. I have to ask everybody, what do you feel is worth noting in your life? What do you consider memorable or meaningful on any given day? If you had to write something down, write about something that made you smile, something that made you forget about where you were, about time, what would it be? Does a small, meaningless occurrence in your life find itself wedged into the lines of a journal or a notebook? And if it is a small occurrence in your life, how small does it have to be for you to discard it? I often wonder if the refracted light from a beveled window in a front door, that little rainbow that you see on the floor sometimes or on the wall, I wonder if that can be, witnessing that can be as enjoyable as a higher moment in your life. Like receiving a gift from a friend, or getting a promotion at work, landing an interview for a job that you want, let's say, or finishing a good book, being asked out to dinner by somebody that you've been eyeing for months. Can that moment mean as much as the other ones? That small little bit of beauty? I know whenever I was younger, I used to pass weeks, months maybe even, without registering a thing. Nothing floated through my radar. Nothing moved me. And I just think, what a waste of my brain. What a waste of this spectacular body, this sensorial body that I've been gifted. I look back on that time and I think how ungrateful I must be to waste a healthy body, to waste the ability to be aware and perceptive. And the whole point is that I know so many people go their whole lives like that. Maybe something will stir them up, every couple of months, maybe every couple of weeks, but that's not enough. So there's a reason that I feel the need to expand upon the importance of overlooked or even meaningless beauty. The beauty that can be found in everyday life if you just look hard enough, or if you're willing to see it. I often wonder if I went up to random people in the street and asked them, when was the last time you experienced something beautiful? Something that really touched you, made you smile, or even cry? What would people say? I believe the key, or at least one of the keys to happiness, is sensuality. Feeling, perceiving, using the senses, and not only using them for what they were evolved for, but to go further than that. As humans, we should use our senses like an artist, because we're capable of doing that. Enjoyment and beauty is in every atom that makes up the world around us. We just have to tune our instruments a bit, develop our sensitivity. And if none of what I'm saying here really makes sense, then I have a video for you above if you'd like a little bit more context. Because what I'm talking about is a life philosophy called sensualism. However, if you don't want to listen to that philosophy, if you don't care about all that, then at the very least, this video is a subtle reminder to you to examine the world around you. Stop and just take everything in for a minute. Find a way to take an hour or two, sometime in your week, to just forget about all the things that are fighting for your attention. Take a deep breath and just let the beauty of the world sink in. Let it reveal itself to you, really. Take a walk. Take your headphones out. Look around. Beauty is always out there. We are just so consumed by other things. Our jobs, social status, social media, negative relationships with others. We're just caught up in this hamster wheel of just nothing really worth our attention half the time. That we don't have time to make room for the nuance of beauty. As a practice, I write down the things that I find beautiful or meaningful in a day, no matter how small that thing is. I also actively seek out beauty. I look for it. I've been doing this for the past couple of months now, and today I'm going to tell you 5 things that I wrote down. 5 things that to me warranted notation. And you'll see what I mean by meaningless. I want to give actual examples of that, things that I consider meaningless but are meaningful to me, or things that maybe people will see as not beautiful but can be, just so I can uphold the philosophy a little bit better. I want to be as clear as I can be about the propensity for joy in the most unassuming places. So, here are 5 of the best things that happened to me in the past week. 2 of these things happened within the same day. So the first thing was I was driving to my parents' house, as I regularly do, and I was listening to this one song called Famous Monsters by Chromatics. I don't know if any of you guys know who Chromatics is or know this song, but it's a banger. And you have to listen to the song too, I think, to understand why this moment was just so wonderful. But I live in a place where there's a lot of bridges, and you can see the city whenever I'm driving towards my parents' house. There's a tunnel, and there's a bridge that goes into the tunnel, and you can see all of these skyscrapers. You're very, very close to the buildings in the city. And so I'm listening to this song, and I look over, which I shouldn't have because it's probably dangerous. Honestly, being a sensualist, it's dangerous to drive a car because you get distracted by everything that is around you. But I looked over because I couldn't help but see it. There was a fire alarm that was going off on one of the floors of the skyscraper that was very, very close to the bridge that I was on. So it's just this all black building. It was nighttime, and this fire alarm is just going off, and it's just strobing in the building. And the strobe light, basically the fire alarm, was strobing to the beat of the song that I was listening to. And it was just, I just imagined, like, in my mind, I imagined almost like a music video of 2 people within the building on that floor where the entire building is vacant, and they're just dancing to the song while this light is strobing on and off and dancing to Famous Monsters. And I just thought, what a cool little thought that is. And just how interesting it was, the synchronicity of the song and the strobe of the light. It was just, I had to like quickly turn away from the scene because I couldn't stop looking at it. I thought it was so interesting, and I had to like merge into traffic. But I thought that was really, really interesting. And it was just cool to see that, it was almost like a show that was personally curated for me. So that was something I wrote down. I thought that was cool. I thought that was worth noting. But something even cooler happened whenever I went to my parents' house. So we got there, we exchanged our hellos and everything, and my father had just recently bought an addition to his Sonos system that he has. He's very proud of it. And so he likes to set the tone, and he likes to put on a good song to really to show off the technology, I guess, and to show off how good it is. And so we're all sitting in the basement. It's like a bass subwoofer, I believe. So he sits me and my mom down on the couch, and he turns down the lights, and he's like, okay, the song is 13 minutes. You just close your eyes and just listen to it. Just don't fight it. Don't laugh. Just sit here and listen. And we're like, yeah, okay. And so he does it. He dims the lights, and we all just sit there, and he puts on a song, right? And it starts out with kind of like a guitar. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. Like at first I wasn't serious, and then it took maybe about 2 or 3 minutes where I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I noticed that it was Pink Floyd. And I immediately jolted up. I was like, is this Pink Floyd? And he's like, yeah, it's Pink Floyd. And the song was Shine On You Crazy Diamond. It was this long, 13-minute long, absolute, just epic song. But I had heard that song before, many, many years ago. And it was like the singular Pink Floyd song that I knew outside of the Dark Side of the Moon album. And it was shown to me by a coworker when I was living in Los Angeles. We were driving to the beach and he put this song on and I was like, whoa, I love this song. You know, what is it? And he told me what it was. And I was like, that is so interesting that out of all of the songs that could have been played tonight, it was that song. It is obviously singularly one of the best songs ever created. It's just like interesting that of all people, my father was the one to put that on. And I had already known that song. I know I liked that song. It really was the perfect musical piece to show off his new equipment. But yeah, that was an awesome experience. I really enjoyed that. So this is a nod to you, Dad, because I know you're watching this video. So that's number 2. That was an absolute great time. I loved that. Those are the little things. And that was 13 minutes. That wasn't even like a whole experience. You know, we just went shopping after with my mom, but that was worth noting to me. The third thing that I wrote down, this was wonderful. So me and my roommate, we discovered recently that there is a lingerie boutique on a boulevard near our house. It's like an appointment only place. And so we went in there one time, a long time ago, but we went back recently within the past week. The interior of the place is very decadent. A lot of black, a lot of gold. It's really, really great. We go in there, honestly, just to have a great time. They have like cheap rosé in there for you for while you shop. But the thing that we noticed the first time we ever went in there, and we had an appointment to try on lingerie the first time we went, but we went the second time because they have, they're rare to find. It was a Helmut Newton coffee table book. This thing is monstrous, I should tell you, by the way. It is a huge book. It must be like 3 feet, whenever 3 or 4 feet, whenever the pages are opened, and it's on display in this lingerie store. So the second time we went in during this week, we decided to go in there simply to look at the book because that book is thousands of dollars. You can't just look at that book. Okay, if you know what I'm talking about. You can't just acquire this book. And there are photos in that book that you can't just find anywhere either. So it's a very, very rare piece of artwork that we were just able to have access to, very, very close to our home. So we actually went in there the second time to sit on a little stool and look at the different pictures and photographs by Helmut Newton in there. And they are spectacular. They are really, some of the ones that you see in there, you can't buy them. You can't see them anywhere online. There was one particular one that we found. It's a nude, of course, but it's a woman laying on this magenta silk bedspread with a calligraphy pen and what looks like a love letter that's resting on her thigh. But she had fallen asleep. It looks like she either fell asleep or she's just so overjoyed or maybe sad, some kind of expressive emotion. And she just has her head back and her arm back this way. And at the bottom it says Nude de Spiegel, Paris, 1977. It's a marvelous, marvelous photo. I mean, we stared at that for like 10 minutes. And you can't find it anywhere. It's so hard to find a good photo of it. But we were blown away by that photograph. So that was another thing that I decided to write down, which I thought was really spectacular, worth noting. Number 4 is more of a small detail. So this is one of the smaller ones. Me and my roommate, we were hanging out later in the evening, and we decided to go to the gas station. We were looking at the beer. We wanted to get like a beer for the evening, just like one of them or something, like a tall boy. And we looked at the bottom, and they have these glass bottles, these 40-ounce glass bottles, and we were like, whoa, they're so cheap. We were like, they're like $2.70 or something like that. It was a Colt 45. And if you don't know Colt 45, it's been around forever. It's a classic, and it's damn good. It tastes so delicious. It's so refreshing. And we were like, yeah, let's get that. I've never had it. I've never had a 40 ounce before. When we brought the 40 ounce home, when we brought the Colt 45 home, we decided that instead of drinking it out of pint glasses the way you would normally with a beer, or maybe even something smaller, we have these little coupe champagne glasses, and we decided to pour the Colt 45 into champagne glasses. We ended up drinking that and watching Swan in Love, which is a movie about Proust, and together we were just like, this is the greatest thing ever. We decided then that Colt 45 would be the house beverage, but only served in champagne glasses. Just thought that was a sweet little detail in our lives. Taking something, I guess, presumably lowbrow and mixing it with highbrow aesthetics is something I really, really love. The last thing that I want to talk about is something simple but meaningful to me. I was at the coffee shop where I spend a lot of my days off, a lot of my time on my days off. And my mother texts me. I'm on the phone with my dad, but I'm not seeing her text messages. But then I get off the phone and I look, and she's just like, I'm walking away. If you don't answer me, I'm walking away. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I look, and she's sending me pictures of this beautiful table. It's low to the ground. It is a Korean red lacquered ceremonial table. And I don't know if you know what those look like, but they have like the beveled edges, very, very short, blocky legs. It's very shiny. The corners are pushed inward. It's a beautiful piece of furniture. And I had been looking for something like that for years. For years. I had also never really had a place of my own to acquire and keep something like that. She's like, I'm walking away. I'm like, no, you're not. Buy it right now. I'll pay you back. She found it at a thrift store. She was just walking through. The table itself it is in my living room right now, and it has all my stuff on it, and I sit at it every night, and I draw there, I read there, I write my scripts there. It is the most beautiful coffee table or desk. I mean, it's a desk to me. I'll sit on the ground. I also really, really adore the East when it comes to furniture. I have a Chinoiserie cabinet. You guys have probably seen it in my earlier videos. I actually have my media cabinet is Chinese influence as well. I have a lot of Eastern furniture, and I plan to acquire more in my life. But I had been looking for a low to the ground ceremonial table for years, and she found the perfect one in the perfect color, and it went in the perfect room in my house. It just goes to show that when something is for you, it will come to you. You just sometimes have to wait for the right moment for it to be in your life. I could have forced it. I could have went on eBay and searched and paid probably extraordinary amounts of money for such a table. But this one was found at a thrift store. It was affordable. It's in very good condition too. I was surprised. It even has like little brass accents and little bird carvings on it, which I thought was really wonderful because I love birds. But that brightened up my whole day, that table. And the fact that it is now an object that I own, and it is part of my life, and it is just another detail in my life that I get to look at every day and appreciate. I was so excited. And I wrote that down. So those are 5 things. Those are, I would say, on the scale of like 1 to 10, those are pretty up there on the scale too, when it comes to like what I'll write down, what I find meaningful. But the things that I do can be all the way down to 1. I mean, I literally the other day there was frost everywhere, for example. And I just took a video of frost on a car. It was late at night, and the street light was shining on the car, and it was making the car sparkle. And I took a video of that. You know, it's just things, that's as meaningless as it gets. It's really just frost on a car. But to me, I found it beautiful. It made the whole car glimmer. So it's little things like that I'll notice, that I'll write down, I'll take a video of, I'll take a photo of, I will note in my life. And those are the things that you have to attribute meaning to, add weight to them, or just notice them. Like I said, beauty is all around you all the time. You just have to be willing to see it. So I hope the 5 things that I included in here give you a better idea of the things that you can attribute meaning to, things that you can stop and look at for a while, or just appreciate, I guess. And 2, I think those things, they deserve being written down. They deserve to be remembered. It isn't even just in the moment that you appreciate it, because you can forget easily, you know? But I make it a point to almost immortalize those moments, not just with pictures, because we can get caught up in our phones a lot with that. And they can get lost in just thousands and thousands of them. But definitely writing down how you felt about a moment, and like what changed in you in that moment, looking at that particular thing or having that particular thing happen to you. I think they deserve a longer lifespan than just a few minutes, 13 minutes, or just getting a table or whatever it may be. But yeah, I've been talking for a really long time now. I'm happy that you guys listen to me share all this with you. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There are a lot of sirens going off around here. Please leave a comment if you want to. I would really appreciate responses below. What are the 5 best things that happened to you this week? What did you notice? What did you find meaningful? Please let me know what those are. Make it a practice. Be sensual. Again, thank you for watching this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, as always, and I will see you guys next week.